Short notice, no problem. Rob Font gets a very dangerous opponent on short notice, David Martinez. But you could say vice versa. David Martinez, you get to jump up in competition, baby. Rob Font, Puerto Rico's own, coming off of 2 wins that are basically setting the table for what this story is, right? Kyler Phillips, John Matsumoto. That means you derailed 2 hype trains after you were already written off. After you lost to Corey Sandhagen and Davison Figueiredo, they wrote him off, but he went and showed. And they're both by decision that when it comes down to taking out this crafty veteran, you're going to have to put him out of there. You know what I mean? Or just have a really dominant decision victory. You know, one of the two. But David Martinez, AJ, if you remember, I've been high on Martinez. When he came in his UFC debut against Simon Oliveira, I don't know if I had knockout in the first round, but I was very high on Martinez to win this fight. I think he's a 5-star prospect, if you will. I don't even know if that's the right verbiage to use. I think this kid's going to be really, really, really good. But on short notice against Rob Font, I have some pause right here. And seeing him as close as a plus 110 dog, almost even money right here, if you push it far enough, I don't know, man. I don't know if he deserves that number yet. I don't know if we've seen enough. I think Rob Font's still getting disrespected. Set the table for us. How you see it?
I think Rob Font is getting disrespected too, Derek. I mean, I think what comes into play a lot in my mind right here is the age. You got a 38-year-old Rob Font who, in the eyes of the bettors, has already been written off once. It's just a matter of time until he's written off again. And especially with how good the Black Spartan David Martinez is, man, this is his night. You know, this is Mexican Heritage Pride Month, right? This is I see all the favor and all the momentum and everything going towards the David Martinez. But again, like you said just previously, Rob Font just took out 2 dudes who had all the momentum, who had everything going for them. So I'm interested to see why it's so close, because I would have given Rob Font right around that 250 mark, especially when I looked at this first.
Yeah. And so let's talk about strategy and game plan here. Rob Font, what's he going to do? You know what he's going to do, man. He's going to jab your face off. He's going to come at you hard with 1-2 straight shots. Sitting in the pocket is really going to be the biggest problem here against Martinez, because as cliche as this sounds, this is going to be, in my opinion, minutes versus moments. Rob Font will win the minutes. David Martinez can win the moments that wins the fights. And that's really where Rob Font loses a lot of these fights, where he's fully in control, but then you get dropped at the end of a round, or you get hit with a big shot. He just doesn't react well, which is why people were saying, oh, your chin is gone, you're shot. He's shown otherwise, right? But I think that David Martinez, his best shot is to be that springy athlete. You see in the Contender Series fight the most. And I think maybe he was just super excited to go, man. But he's sitting there and you could feel the tenseness. He's bouncing up and down and he's throwing shots, spinning head kicks, big right hands, everything, the whole entire nine. And I think Rob Font is crafty enough of a veteran to have seen this stuff before, man, and maintain distance properly. But when it comes down to power, I just think that's really it for David Martinez. Power, and I would say he is probably slightly a faster fighter than Rob Font at this stage of his career.
At this stage of your career, I definitely agree with that, Derek. The one thing I think David Martinez is going to need to exploit in this is those low kicks. Anytime Rob Font is blasting that jab, because we know that's what he's going to do, just be pumping that jab out there, attack those low kicks with powerful chopping shots. That's going to be providing holes that he's going to see. But again, Rob Font, the crafty veteran, you're going to have to not only iterate once, you're going to have to iterate 2-3 more times if you're David Martinez in this fight to get it to where you're not going to be, or you're going to be able to win that decision or put yourself in a position to get that knockout later on in the fight.
And let's take into account as well right here, because I mentioned this was short notice, but this was supposed to be Raul Rosas versus Rob Font. So you have a kind of completely different style fighter that you're training for on the short notice side for David Martinez. He was actually already training for a fight, and it was going to be, I think, it was going to be soon. I don't know if it was going to be on the same exact card or if it was on a different card, but the point is he was already in camp. So I don't think it's going to be like cardio issues. He's ready to go. It's just a quick switch in opponents right here. When it comes down to the intangibles, Rob Font taller, Rob Font a lot longer right here. So stay at that mid-range, box his face off, and you could probably get a dub. But let's actually talk the numbers right here. Rob Font, in my opinion, at minus 130, or if we go ahead and pull a method of victory, Rob Font by points, plus 140 right here by points. I love that number right there, brother. I think that you're seeing a little bit of that, like, all right, well, if Rob Font gets it done, that's generally speaking how he's going to get it done. But what does it mean to you that David Martinez is plus 200 by points and a plus 110 dog?
I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, Derek, moments versus minutes. More consistently, Rob Font will win the decision fight. That's why his is at plus 140. Whereas David Martinez, if he is going to win that fight and not get a finish, it's going to be because we're getting the oohs and ahs 3, 4, 5 times throughout every individual round, ending on a strong note. And I think that's where he comes in to win that. That's why I think they're so close. And I actually agree with that, because I do think David Martinez, I don't see him. Well, I see him being in the position to find a knockout, to get a finish right here. I don't see him actually getting it done. So I like the decisions are very, very close in a point contest right here.
All I'm saying is David Martinez has 10 knockout victories, 2 decisions, and his knockout prop is plus 500. His decision prop is plus 200. Now, Rob Font on the other end of things has never been knocked out in the UFC or in his entire MMA career. He has been submitted once, though, right? So something to think about. I think there's a wrestling route for David Martinez as well, but the final play right here is going to be the totals over 2.5 rounds. If you're a Rob Font better, I think it's safe to say you I don't know if you take that. It's minus 330. I mean, that's pretty steep right there. I'd really rather just take Rob Font on points personally. But I think you're going to say this fight is going to go over 2.5 rounds. That's the pick, not the bet. What are you thinking?
Absolutely. The pick, if you're not settled on either or fighters, the pick right here is that over at 2.5. I'm rocking right with you though, Derek. I got Rob Font by decision. I think he's going to put on a show, not a master class in how he goes about things. I do think David Martinez is going to provide a lot of turmoil in this fight. We're going to see a lot of things right here, but I do think Rob Font gets it done.
All right, fair play. Shout out to Rob Font. Gonna have to keep another prospect here down, but I would not be surprised again. I think this is a fair bet. Rob Font, consensus across the board right here. But David Martinez is very good. We just got to see if he's up to this task right here, because this is a steep jump in opposition right here.